Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is Soft Flow Yoga. It's a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. Thanks so much for joining me. Our class today is called Yoga for Tight Hamstrings. Exactly what it's called, yoga for tight hamstrings. So many of us have really tight hamstrings. And so things like, I can't bend over to tie my shoes. So I'm going to walk you through some very common hamstring stretchers during this practice. And of course, we'll need some props. So you want to have something soft that you can sit on, like a towel or a pillow or my nice trusty soft blanket here. So something soft that you can sit on. Because some of our postures we will be sitting down to help stretch out those tight hamstrings. Alrighty. And to go along with that, you'll need a belt or a yoga strap. It could be a jump rope, anything like that, something long. That too is going to help us with our tight hamstrings today. And we like to use a couple of yoga blocks for some of our postures. These are just firm styrofoam type blocks. You can also use some hardbound books. In addition to our lengthening and stretching our hamstrings, we're going to do some leg extension work too. Just working on how to engage your legs very strongly. And that type of thing can also help with stability and strength in our legs and our hips and even our backs for things just like walking and maybe doing some yoga poses that involve standing on one foot. I have my nice bolster here, yoga bolster, just another firm cushion. This is optional unless you just have a pillow that you like to use. And you can probably see my chair over here, which we'll be also using, because we'll be doing some forward folds, some standing forward folds. And this can be used as a tool and a way to assist some of our postures. So I'm just going to let that sit there. We'll be coming back to that, but let's start in seated. So now, even sitting sometimes, if your hamstrings are a little tight, this too can be a little bit challenging. So if it feels more comfortable for you, go ahead and sit in a chair or sit up against a wall. And don't feel obligated to cross your legs like I am here. You can always extend your legs. Even something like this, where you've got your legs bent, and you're sitting up, maybe up against a wall for a little extra support. And then I might even suggest placing a cushion or pillow underneath your legs, something like that. Okay, so wherever you are comfortably sitting, we'll start our breathing meditation. So just sit up nice and tall, nice long torso, lengthened spine. Just roll those shoulders down away from your earlobes. And let's take a couple of deep breaths. Nice full inhale and a complete exhale. Do that one more time. Nice full breath in. Exhale, release. Very nice. You might even just roll your shoulders a few times. Just check in with your body. You want to notice if there's any tension that's just sitting somewhere in your body. And just this gentle breath and circling of the shoulders will just start to help release. Just continue with slow, steady breaths here. And this can be done with your eyes opened if you'd like. You can just gaze forward or even down at the floor. You can even just close your eyes. Just want to breathe in a way where you can hear the sound of your breath. So if you can't hear the sound of your breath, just turn up the volume a little bit. Breathe with intention. Mindful breathing. Notice how your body is responding to your breath. For example, as you breathe in, you might feel your chest expand, your lungs expand, even feel the rise and fall of your belly. So notice how your body is responding to your breath. These are just some simple ways to be fully connected and aware as we begin our yoga practice. This is an opportunity to let go of all the things that are going on outside of you so you can pay attention to what's going on inside of you. Again, we're going to focus on our tight hamstrings today, doing some light, gentle stretches just to bring a little bit more flexibility, mobility, and even strength to our legs. You can even use that as your personal intention for your practice. Just think about what you'd like to achieve Maybe you have a goal in mind for this practice. Now, it might be the tight hamstrings getting a little more flexible. It could be anything at all, not even related to your legs. Maybe something outside of the yoga experience. Maybe you're just needing to have a little bit more energy during the day, more confidence. Maybe release some anger or tension. Let's take 3 more breaths here in stillness. Let's move on to our moving meditation. So, in addition to the movement of breath, let's move our bodies. So when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out and up, reaching into the air with good effort. Nice stretch. Exhale, extend the arms out and let them float back down by your side. Very nice. Let's do that again. As you inhale with effort, reach across the room. Feel like you're going to touch the walls on either side of you, all the way up like you're going to touch the ceiling. Then exhale, same thing, reaching out with good effort, even through your fingertips, all the way back down. Now go ahead and continue this movement on your own. Breathing at your own pace, moving at your own pace. Just this simple motion of bringing the arms up and then back down. And I'll add a few more things to pay attention to. Now, when you inhale, the arms are going out and up. You also want to feel that the breath is rising upward, filling up your lungs with a nice expansive feeling. Inhale like you're inflating a balloon. Then when you exhale, now the arms are coming down. We don't want the breath necessarily to fall back down. We actually want to keep this uplifting sensation. And so in order to do that, we create a lock, this energetic lock. It's called the abdominal lock. And it feels like you're just gently pulling your belly button in toward your spine. It's a light contraction of your abdominal muscles. So again, as you inhale, reaching arms up, feel breath rise, fill up your lungs. Keep that uplifting sensation. As you exhale, arms come down, but you're pulling belly in order to contain the energy here. One more time with the arms and breath. Very nice. And just hold here in stillness for a moment. Now we're going to change. I'm going to change my posture. I'm just going to turn sideways here. And let's just imagine that I have really, really tight hamstrings and I don't want to cross my legs, or it's uncomfortable to cross my legs. And so I'm going to use this cushion here and just continue with this next part of the practice. So we still want to sit up nice and tall. You're going to bring the hands behind you and just prop yourself up onto the fingertips. Now, as you're able, you want to roll the shoulders back or gently pull the shoulders back so your chest really feels proud and it's kind of moving forward. Then we're going to tip the chin up a little bit. So we're creating a mild back bend. Now, here's the breath. You'll inhale, press into the floor with the hands. Inhale to feel the breath rise, fill up your lungs. And because of the shoulders rolled back and the chin tipped up, you might feel a bit of a stretch quality across the chest from shoulder to shoulder. Just creating a little bit more space in the body. Now when you exhale, we're still drawing belly button in towards spine, creating that abdominal lock. A couple more times like that. Inhale, breath rising. Fill up the lungs. Exhale, draw belly in. A couple extra things here, because as you're pressing into the floor with the fingertips, just feel an energy surging through your arms. When you exhale, not only are you drawing your belly button in, as you're able, squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. One more breath. When we're complete, just go ahead and lower your chin to look forward. Walk your hands towards yourself. You can just bring them onto your laps here. And just take another breath in stillness. All right, now you can keep the pillow as it is. We're going to do a forward fold. All righty? But if you can, let's come to cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. Now what you can do, you're just going to bend the knees here. placing the soles of the feet together. Now you really can't see the angle of my legs. They're at about 90 degrees. That means the feet are pushed forward rather than pulled inward towards my body. And because of that sensation, because it affects the hips, the knees are going to be well away from the floor. That's perfectly fine. What you may want to do is grab those books or blocks, or even some small pillows from your sofa, and just place them here underneath the legs. Just tuck them underneath. That way the legs feel like they're resting on the blocks. They don't feel like they're just hanging out there in space. In order to help stand or sit up tall, just hold on to your shins or ankles, a little pull to help lift yourself up. Now we'll inhale, continue that lengthening of the spine, breath rising to fill your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in, and start to hinge forward. You're leading with your heart and your chin like you're going out, in this case towards my chair, just a little bit right there. Just a nice angled upper body. And this might start to show up as some type of sensation in the inner legs. If not, maybe you can go a little bit further, but really try not to force this, and certainly don't need to go too quickly. I'm going to inhale, just create a little bit more length through the spine. Exhale, pull belly in and just hinge forward a tiny bit more. At this point, I can actually reach my feet. And it's perfectly fine here too to lower your chin, even round your back. That's going to produce a nice stretch sensation through your back, in addition to the stretch sensation in the inner legs. This is about as far as we need to go. We really don't need to go down too far. We want to be able to hold our postures for a good amount of time in our soft flow class. That way we don't feel like we're forcing ourselves into any pose. So soften up the posture, get to a place where yes, you do have sensation, but it doesn't feel forced, it doesn't feel tight, it doesn't feel bound up. Don't want to feel overwhelmed and get anxious just by holding a simple pose. That's all a part of our intention while teaching soft flow yoga. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And if your back is rounded and your chin is lowered here to help re-extend the spine, you might just lift your chin a little bit. That'll start that re-extension of your spine. You can place your hands on your mat and just help press and lift yourself up like that until you're nice and tall in your seat. Alrighty, I'm just going to scoot back just a little bit because I need a little bit more room out in front of me. So we're going to move into our first hamstring stretch. So let's go ahead and grab that strap or belt, whatever you have here, and we're going to keep these blocks nearby. So it could be a pillow, a book, or a block. I'm going to keep my left, actually I'm going to do my right leg so you can actually see what's happening with my left. So I'm just going to move my blocks out of the way. I'm just going to let my right knee just rest over here on the blocks and extend the left leg. I just want you to be able to see that. So we'll start with our left leg. Extend it out front here. Now let's say the leg doesn't go absolutely straight. Here you might put something underneath that leg. It could be, now my block here has firm, sharper edges, not too sharp, but sharper edges, so you might want to put something soft like a rolled up towel or even a nice pillow underneath here. That way the leg feels supported in a bent feeling here. So just in case the leg does not extend completely out on the floor. And then we're going to lasso that foot. Maybe what you can do is just drag that heel towards yourself. Maybe lean forward and wrap the strap around the foot and then extend. That's an easy way of doing that. Alrighty. So we're just going to do a little hamstring stretching. So I'm just going to hold on to the strap with both hands. Just going to kind of wind them up around the hands. So as I inhale, I'm going to give myself a tug on the strap here in order to sit up as tall as I can. This really just helps to activate the body. We're inhaling, and the exhale, another tug of the strap to help guide the heart forward, just like we did in the cobbler's pose when we were hinging forward. But with this hinge, you're going to feel this more in this left leg. Yes? Do you feel that? Light stretch, or maybe it's a significant stretch. So pay attention, because if you have really tight hamstrings, and even with the knee bent and you're starting to fold and it feels pretty intense, remember, soft flow. Feel free to soften this up. You don't have to fold too far, or if you need to, bend the knee a little bit more. or just come to the place where, yes, I feel sensation. It feels like it's stretching, but it doesn't feel intense. Okay? Now you'll have to kind of decide what that might mean for you. In soft flow, I often say work at about 60 to 70%. Maybe in this case around 60% rather than pushing and forcing yourself to 100%, which we often do in yoga and other things. This is our permission to go a little bit lighter. Alrighty? So we want to be able to hold this so that the body gets used to the extended quality. So it gets this nice stretch. Has a wonderful benefit. All right, let's go ahead and finish. Let's come up. I'm going to drag my heel so I can unwrap the strap from around the bottom of the foot. Let's do the other side. So I'm going to bend my left knee now. Use that block out to the side so my leg has something to rest on. And I'm going to extend the right leg. Now the name of this pose is actually called head to knee pose. And as you can see, we did not bring the head all the way down to the knee. We're just doing the formation of the legs. We have one leg extension and one knee bent. All right, same thing. Now I can extend my right leg, but certainly use something soft underneath that bent knee as you need to. I'm going to drag my heel close, wrap my strap around the sole of the foot, and re-extend the leg. Alrighty, I got the strap in hand. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, another little tug of the strap, hinge forward. I'm going to pause right there because I'm feeling this. To me, this is about a 55%. I do feel this, but it's very light for me. That's for me. Now really listen to your body. That's what this is all about, paying attention to what's going on in your body. I'm just using my body as reference to help you along. Again, we want to be able to hold the posture. Sometimes we try to stretch, especially areas of the body that are tight, something like hamstrings, but we're really not holding those stretches long enough for the body to accept the new elongation. You want to get into a pose that you can hold, a stretch perhaps that you can hold for a good amount of time. So what's a good amount of time? In some cases, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 to 7 minutes. So it could be a long time. We're certainly not holding it that long. We're probably about at a minute at holding this position. So if you can hold this for a couple of minutes and maybe do something like this every day or every other day or 3 times a week, your body will start to get used to this gentle lengthening sensation, this exercise to help loosen up those tight hamstrings. And that's the key. Consistency, so keep doing it, but something that you can easily access and do and hold and certainly reap the benefits. All right, we're done here. So I'm just going to hinge my way back up. I'm going to drag the heel in close so I can unwrap. Alrighty, so we've added an initial stretch to the legs, and it might even help us as we move forward in our practice. Let's go to our hands and knees, just moving the props to the side. I'm going to swing my legs back behind me. Here I'm going to unfold my blanket so I have a little bit more space so I can place my knees and my hands here. Let's do cat and cow. So inhale, tip the chin up. Looking forward, a little arch of the back. You kind of create a back bend here. Tipping the pelvis back. This is cow pose. Exhale, maybe starting with your backside. See if you can tuck the pelvis under. Pull the belly button up towards spine. Create that curved spine. And then chin kind of tucks in towards chest. This is cat. Then inhale, starting with the back end. Tip the pelvis back. It's an anterior tilt. That's what we call that. Belly drops. Creates that back bend, heart opens, look forward. Exhale, start with the back end, do a posterior tilt, tucking underneath. Feel like your tailbone is trying to tuck under. Pull belly button up towards spine, rounded spine, chin to chest. And just continue this nice fluid movement through the pelvis and through the spine. This may feel nice after sitting for some time, because sometimes sitting, especially on the floor, you might feel a little compression in the spine, especially in the hips and pelvis. So this just adds mobility back into those areas. Let's finish the breath that we're on and take 2 more. And when we're done, we're just going to come to stillness, holding here for a few seconds. Alrighty, it's going to crawl off the blanket. We're going to set this to the side. We're going to get ready for downward facing dog. So we're going to crawl back out here. Initially, the wrists might be directly underneath the shoulders. That's fine, but we're going to change that. You're going to step the hands forward so your wrists are out from underneath the shoulders here. Spread out your fingers and spread them pretty wide so you feel a stretch between each finger. And then press the palms flat into the mat so it stretches open your palms. Push with some effort so you feel your arms straighten out and hold that energy. Tuck your toes under. One more cat-cow flow. So an inhale, look up or forward, arching the back. That's cow. Exhale, round it out into cat pose. Hold cat. Feel the strong, straight arms. Then lift the knees and then send your hips up into the air, which will now extend the torso. And your heart will start to sink down between the arms. I like to adjust the feet. I take them slightly wider and tiptoe forward. And I'm also adjusting my hands just a little bit, taking them a bit wider. Now, don't worry if you have tight hamstrings here. Perfectly fine, because you can bend your knees. I actually encourage you to bend your knees while in downward facing dog. When you bend your knees like this, you create more mobility in your hips. And with hip mobility, you're able to lift the hips a little higher, creating more extension through the torso. At the same time, hands are pressing flat into the mat. And that's what we want. Long, straight arms, long torso and spine. Now look straight down at your mat because we're going to walk, stepping forward. Don't worry if you don't make it all the way to the top of the mat because we don't need to. Just get to a place where your feet feel flat on the mat and then slide your fingers towards your toes. Now if this means you need to bend your knees quite a bit to touch your toes, perfectly fine. All right, we're going to come to standing from here. Now, we are in a forward fold, even if your knees are very bent. Don't worry about that at all. We are in the posture. Let's start to stand up, and this is how we can stand. Carefully start shifting your weight towards your heels. Doesn't have to be too much. Just want to feel like your toes are light. Okay? And then extend your spine as best as you can. Just setting the hips down like you're sitting down into a low chair. Find a little bit more extension. This should allow you to bring your hands up to your thighs. Okay, because you're shifting the weight and balance of your body. Put hands on the mid-thigh here. Push into your thighs to help you stand. So straighten your legs. Get nice and tall here. Let's finish that straight line in the body by reaching both arms up into the air. Then exhale, you can bring your arms back down by your side. Alrighty. Now, we were in a forward fold. A more traditional forward fold is the legs are a little bit straighter. They don't have to be absolutely straight, but if your hamstrings are tight, it's perfectly fine to bend your knees a whole lot. We're going to use a prop for this next time because we're going to do the same thing. And that's why I'm going to bring in the seat of my chair. You can be a dresser, a wall, table, anything that you have nearby. I'm just going to fold my mat in so I can pull this chair in like so, okay? Alrighty, so together, just facing your wall, table, or chair, whatever you've got, okay? We're going to inhale. Let's get that nice extension through the whole body by reaching both arms up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, arms out to the side, bend your knees, and sit back as if there was a chair behind you rather than in front of you. Bend the knees. Okay, this will keep the back flat. See how my back is still flat? I'm going to bring my arms down, but hands out in front and just catch whatever is in front of you. The wall, table, or chair. In my case, it's the seat of the chair. And just rely on it. Okay, I'm just kind of leaning forward. And I'm just going to gently kind of lower, I can even bend my elbows, and kind of lower my head towards the seat of the chair. Moving towards this modification of a forward fold. But you can still see my knees are very bent. But I still feel this in the hamstrings. And if you have especially tight hamstrings, then you will probably feel this too. Again, no need to overdo this. You don't have to fold too far. Your knees don't have to be too, or your legs do not have to be too straight. Just get to a place where you feel comfortable. You know what I'm going to do? My pillow was nearby, so I'm going to bring my cushion here right up onto the seat of my chair so I can even just rest my forearms here. And I'm still leaning forward, relying a whole lot on the seat of this chair. This is why I think like a table, a low table probably, or a seat of a chair is really nice for this, because we can hold this posture for a good amount of time, maybe a good 45 seconds to a minute, to start feeling that gentle stretch and lengthening sensation down through the hamstrings. Let's take a few more breaths here. To make our way up out of this pose, since I'm on my elbows, I'm just going to come up onto my hands. I'm going to just kind of scoot my pillow off to the side and onto the floor there. Now my hands are still on the seat of the chair. My weight is still forward, but I need to release my energy from the chair. So I'm just shifting my weight back, getting more into my heels and my hips. Okay, bending the knees. Okay, I'm going to have good bent knees here. Place one hand, if two hands on your thighs if you can. Same thing to help stand up. Just press into your thighs to help stand up nice and tall. Reaching both arms up into the air. Finishing that nice line in the body, arms return to your side. And go ahead and shake all of that out. Very nice. Okay, so that's a way you can do forward fold. Bring in a prop, chair, table, something that you can probably hold for a period of time to really feel that lengthening sensation occur and really reap the benefits of a good stretch. All right, I'm going to move my chair out of the way. There we go, and unfold my mat. Let's move on to our variations of Warrior One. Now, when we get into Warrior One, we're going to do some dynamic engaging of the legs to build some strength in the legs. All right, let me just adjust my props here, especially my mat. There we go. So let's start together in mountain pose. Okay, so feet firm on the floor. Here we do want to keep a softness in the knees, so don't worry about having absolutely straight legs. We're starting to shift our weight into the right foot. Already we're feeling the energy of that foot and leg, really. Pressing into the floor, the leg muscles will engage. That's exactly what we want. We're leaning forward a tiny bit so you feel your right foot, your toes kind of grip the mat. That way the left heel and foot feel light. You can lift the heel, toes still on the floor, and just start tapping the foot back a little bit, just like that, until it just stops, until there's some distance between the feet. I'm going to pivot right there and shift and put weight into that back foot, shifting my whole energy back, and so I'm feeling balanced right here, okay? You want to make sure the knees stay soft. Now here's our variation of Warrior One. First, place your hands on your hips, pushing pelvis downward, and feel the torso really feel like it's lifting up. We're just creating some good length through the spine, but also space around the belt line. That should allow us to turn to face forward here. We're going to inhale, extend both arms up into the air. Exhale, bend your elbows to about 90 degrees, like so, and we're just facing forward. So we're just holding here for a moment. We're going to change this slightly after we've held this first variation of Warrior One. We're going to do a second variation in a moment. So just hold and take a couple breaths. All right, let's go ahead and inhale, extend the arms up into the air. Exhale, bring your arms down to your side. Actually bring hands to hips. What we're going to do, we're going to create a little bit more distance between the feet. So first, start shifting weight into the front foot, maybe a little bit more, so you can maybe pick up that back heel and maybe step back once, right there. So again, a little bit more distance between the feet, but not too much. My body, torso is still facing forward. The right knee is bent and it is also pointing forward. Now inhale, extend the arms up into the air. Exhale, we're going to bend those elbows again. But we're going to pay attention to this back leg. It should be the left leg. I'm just pushing into the mat a little bit more firmly, just to generate some more energy in the entire leg. Push down into the floor. Feel the change in your thigh. maybe even through the back side of the leg, hamstrings, even your glutes here. Facing forward, you might feel a little bit of sensation in the hip flexor, kind of in the front. When we get to the third version of this posture, you're going to feel this a little bit more. But I really want you to feel that firing up of the leg. And all you did was just push the foot more firmly into the ground. Inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, arms down, hands to hips. Really lean forward into this front foot. I'm even leaning forward with my body. So I can pick up the left foot, step forward, big step. Feet together. Inhale, extend both arms up into the sky. Exhale, arms return to your side. Very nice. Maybe shake out those shoulders and even check down with your feet. We're going to do the same thing other side. So 2 versions of our warrior 1. Soft knees, start shifting weight into left foot. Press into the floor, just like we did when we had the foot behind us. So you can feel that energy in the leg. Shift forward slightly, grip the mat with your toes. Right heel lifts. Tap the foot back until it naturally stops here. Pivot that leg or just turn the leg. Plant the heel into the floor. Little distance between the feet. Soft knees. Let's place hands on hips. Push pelvis down. Feel the torso get tall. Space around the belt line so we can face mostly forward. You want to make sure your left knee and toes are also pointing forward. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. Exhale, bend elbows to about 90 degrees. This is our first version. We're just going to hold here. Mainly just want to feel balanced on 2 feet with a little bit of distance between the feet. We're getting ready for our second version. We're going to put a little bit more distance between the feet. Let's inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, arms down, hands to hips, lean forward, put weight into the left foot so we can just take, boom, just 1 step back with that right foot. Now push more firmly into the floor with that foot. Now it does straighten the leg a little bit more, alrighty? But you're just putting some more energy and effort in that back leg so you can feel the thigh muscle engage or fire up. It's working. Hamstrings, same thing, even right down to the foot. We're still tall, facing forward, a slight stretch sensation in the front of the leg. Again, check in with this left knee, make sure it's still bent. Inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, bend elbows. Here we are, holding. Still creating some good effort of pressing the back foot into the mat, energizing that leg. All right, so remember what we're focusing on today. It's not only hamstring stretching out those tight hamstrings, but adding some strength to our legs. So we're going to be doing some leg extensions as well. This can be considered a leg extension, but we're also going to be extending them up into the air. Now, inhale, extend the arms up. Arms down on the exhale, hands to hips. A good lean forward into the front foot so you can pick up that back foot. Step forward, feet together. Inhale, extend your arms into the sky. There's our nice stretch. Exhale, arms return to your side. Maybe a little circle of the shoulders here. And a breath or 2. All right, we're going to make our way down to the floor, moving through a sun salutation. And of course, we like to break this down. Here we go. Keeping in mind tight hamstrings. Here we go. Inhale, reaching up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into the imaginary chair. As your arms come down, you might even bring them to your thighs. A good bend in the knees. Keep folding, and then maybe start to slide your hands down the legs until you feel like you're just going to naturally stop. You're going to feel a pull, a sensation of stretch and lengthening through the backs of your legs. Then you let your head drop, let the back round. That might allow you to go a little further down towards the floor. If you can, hands on the floor. You can also bring in some hardbound books or blocks, bringing the floor a little bit closer to you to place your palms on the blocks. So you can start walking, take your time, stepping back until you're in plank pose. Now, if you're on the blocks, you can pause there for just a moment. Then we'll gently set the knees onto the floor and move the blocks out of the way. And then we're going to make our way into downward facing dog. Hands out in front, spread out your fingers, press into the mat, straight arms. I'm just going to step my knees back a little bit so my knees are a little bit more aligned with my hips. Tuck the toes, cat-cow. Inhale, lift head and heart. There's our back bend. Exhale, round it out. Lifting the knees and hips, feeling the spine straighten, knees stay bent, hips are mobile and can rise up into the air. Now we're going to pick up the right foot and extend the leg back. Don't worry if it doesn't straighten out all the way and it doesn't have to lift high. Inhale. Exhale, bend the right knee. You're going to bring that right knee in towards your chest, towards your chin. At the same time, shift your whole upper body forward until your shoulders are aligned over your wrists. Go ahead and set the right foot down, just your toes, just like that, see? And then set the left knee onto the floor. Now, if your hips are tight, this is a good variation of getting this foot up to the top of the mat. I'm kind of shifting my weight back so I can free up this right hand, reaching back to grab my ankle and just guiding it up towards the top of the mat here. Replanting the hand, relift that left knee. Knee is still bent because that leg may not be fully straight there. Pivot, place the heel onto the floor. Rise up to fingertips. This is where your blocks might come in handy again. Alrighty, because you want to lift yourself up a little bit, like so. So your spine is mostly straight, but shifting the weight back, and I can just do that by just stepping the blocks back. So there's more pressure in that back foot. We did that earlier. We're moving to our third version of Warrior One. All right, let's bring one hand, then two hands up to the thigh. Make sure there's a good knee bend there. Press, lift. Here we are. I'm already feeling that stretch in this front leg. Before we get the arms up into the air, let's go ahead and really amplify this back leg. Like we did earlier, just push more firmly into the floor with the foot as best as you can. Feel what's happening here. We're just energizing that leg, providing some good strength in the leg. Alrighty, bent right knee pointing forward. Now let's inhale, take the arms up into the air. Hold. This is our third version of Warrior One. A little bit more classic in nature, yes? Ready for Warrior Two. Breathing in first. Exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Being sure your right knee is still pointing forward. Now that back foot, I like to turn the toes outward so everything feels nicely aligned, especially with the joints, ankle, knee, and hip. But it's still very active. I'm still pressing into the floor of that back foot. Strong. I can feel this more in the outer thigh. Nice and tall here. A little bit of a lunge, getting in some energy here in the front leg. Alrighty, very nice. Couple breaths. Feeling tall up top, nicely lifted, extended arms. We're going to drop the arms, bring hands to hips, kind of soften up a little bit, start to turn forward, drop the hands, reach forward, flip the palms up because we're going to fold. Bend the right knee. You might even just bring them down to the blocks again. Step the blocks forward. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you here. I'm going to move the blocks or set the blocks forward so I can bring my hands to the floor. If you need to, you can set the left knee onto the floor. Because what we're doing is just going to slide the right foot back. So if you drop the knee carefully or set the knee down, you might even take both hands way over to your left side so you have a lot of space on the right. So you can swing that leg back or slide it back until you're on your hands and knees again. And just come back to center. Since we're here, take 2 breaths, cat and cow. We're going to get set up for downward facing dog again. Let's step the hands forward, spread out the fingers, press firmly into the mat. It's just another way of firing up the body. Just like we're doing the legs, we're doing the same thing with the arms. Tuck your toes. One more cat-cow. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Lifting knees and hips into the air, sinking the chest. Let's do the other side. Inhale, pick up the left foot, extend the left leg back, lifting it into the air. Doesn't have to lift high. This is fine here. Inhale, exhale, bend that left knee, bring it in towards chest, shifting whole upper body forward, shoulders over wrists. Once you get there, then you can set the left foot down. Doesn't matter where it lands. Set the right knee down. Shifting the weight back, free up this left hand, go get the left foot. I'm just guiding it up towards the front portion of the mat. You can even start bringing in the blocks here, which I'm going to do. Pick up that right knee. Pivot or turn right heel to the floor. I'm going to raise my blocks a little higher, push into the blocks to lift my own upper body so I can extend the spine. Get some good pressure in that back foot. I'm just sending the weight back so I can get a little bit more pressure in that back foot. Once I feel pretty centered here and lifted, should be less weight in the hands on those blocks so you can bring them to your thigh. Push into the thigh to lift right there. Now before we get the arms up into the sky, let's energize that back foot. Straightening the leg, push more effortful into the floor with that back foot. What I'm thinking about and feeling is that back edge or outside edge of the foot pressing more into the ground. Left knee is pointing forward. Okay, feeling nice and tall. We're inhaling, reaching up into the sky. Hold on the exhale. Now don't forget, because there's more distance between the feet, a little bit more stretch sensation in that front portion of the leg, the right hip flexor. Let's breathe in. Exhale, turn torso towards the right side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. Check in with the left knee. Make sure it's still pointing forward. And we're going to turn the right foot and leg if you need to, so it's more aligned. There we are. More pressure in that leg. Make sure it's fired up. You're going to feel it more in the outer thigh here. Even feel like you're trying to push your outer thigh in that direction. Here's our warrior two, holding for a couple breaths. We're going to lower your arms, bring hands to hips, turn to face forward mostly, dropping the arms, reach forward, flip the palms up, fold. Just bring your hands to those blocks, rise up on the tiptoes behind you. So we're in a runner's lunge. Let's bring the knees to that right knee to the floor. I'm going to move my blocks, done with those, hands to the floor. But I need to get this foot back behind. So it's going to be hard to pull for this foot right now. So I'm just moving my whole body over to the right so I can feel more loose over here with the left foot and just swing it back right there onto hands and knees. Meet me here, cat and cow. All right, we're going to get into some other leg extensions, another stretch and an extension. Carefully sit back, down towards the heels. You don't have to sit on the heels, but really just getting freedom in the hands so you can sit off to the side, yes? And then swing the legs around to the front. Let's do our stretch. Now we did this earlier, but we only did it with one leg. We're going to do it with both legs. You may want to sit on something soft. I'm going to bring in my blanket. I like to sit kind of on the edge of the blanket, kind of propels me forward, yes? And then I'm going to bring in a pillow, cushion, blocks, something soft to place underneath the bent knees. And I already feel quite supported here. We're going to do a seated forward fold. We're going to use that strap again. So you might want to drag your heels close, wrap the strap around the feet. There we are, and extend them forward. A little pull of the strap to sit up tall. Breathe in. Exhale, another pull of the strap, and forward we go. I can almost relax the arms here. My hands can actually rest on the pillows. And another posture, especially if it's well supported, that you can hold. Now the spine can remain straight, but that takes some action. That does take effort to do. So you can just kind of roll forward, lower the chin, take some deep breaths, so you might feel a light stretch in your back while the hamstrings get the stretch that they need. Same thing, 45 seconds to 1 minute, but if you feel pretty comfortable here, especially with all the support using blankets and pillows, maybe you can hold it a little bit longer. You might even set a timer for maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes and see if you can hold it for that long. Just want to have a good stretch, something that feels mild to the body, where you're not stimulating or activating the parasympathetic nervous system or the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is part of that stress response. Okay, when we get stressed and anxious and muscles get tight and all of that business. We're really used to that feeling. What we want to do is to trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, which is more of the calming part of the central nervous system. So that's what we want. That is called the rest and digest part of the system rather than fight or flight. And that way the muscles can relax here and just do a nice gentle stretch. And then they kind of plug into their cellular memory. Oh, I've stretched out and it feels good. I didn't stretch because I was stressed. Okay, I'm stretching because it's relaxed. And it'll maintain that stretch, especially over time, that consistency with the practice. All right, so we've been here a long time, couple minutes. All right, let's go ahead and rise back up. Let's release the strap. Set that to the side. Rise up. I'm going to move my pillow to the side. Right there. I think I'll keep my blanket here, but I'm going to unfold it because I'm going to lie down. And this is where you want to bring in the blocks. Something firm, okay? So you're going to sit in the center of your mat. Make sure your blocks are nearby that you can grab, and then roll down onto your back. And maybe just hold here for a moment, maybe just lying down with your knees bent, feet on the floor. Again, just allowing the hips and your back to relax here for a moment, especially after being in a seated posture. Let everything settle, because this is a very different feeling for the body. Hopefully it provides some relaxation for in muscles that tend to get overworked. All right, so we're going to move into a bridge pose. It's a supported bridge pose. We're going to add leg extensions to them. So first, making sure knees are bent, feet flat on the floor. You got your blocks nearby. With a good exhale, providing energy in the body, lift the hips high enough so you can slide a couple of books or blocks underneath you. My blocks are thin, so I'm putting 2. If you have a thicker yoga block, you may only need 1. And then just sit. And again, hopefully feeling quite relaxed here. Few breaths. I'm going to work with an extension of the leg. Hopefully maybe your strap is nearby, you can grab it, because you can certainly use your strap for this. Okay, I'm going to do my left leg first. I'm going to keep my right foot on the floor. If you can, pick up the left foot. If you can kind of pull it in towards yourself, do that. But if you have tight hips, this might be a bit of a challenge. Now we have to play cowboy and try to lasso that foot, which you can do. Oh, this is a challenge, isn't it? Try to get that strap around the foot. Alrighty. Okay, getting around the foot so we can extend the leg into the air. Now again, don't worry about getting a completely straight leg like this. If this is not you, don't worry about it. You can bend the knee, even send the leg way out front. That's why you got the strap as like a leash around the foot so you can hold on to it in space. But just want to be at a place where you feel like, yeah, oh, there's that hamstring stretch and it feels light enough where I can hold it. We're not going to hold it too long because since the leg is in the air, but another way of engaging. And so to get this leg extension with the engagement, all you want to do is just put a little bit more flex in the foot. Feel like your heel is really reaching for the ceiling, and that'll start the activation of the muscles in the leg. And that's all you really need, even if the knee is bent. Or if the leg is a little bit lower, you can still activate here. I'll show you a way how you can switch feet in the strap. Hopefully this will work for you. Let's take 3 more breaths. We'll soften this up. So I'm just bending the knee. I'm holding onto the ends of the strap, one in either hand, and just taking it wide. Lower it. Keep the foot in the strap because I'm going to lower it, pick up the other foot, and see if I can just step into the strap, like so. And then I can set the left foot down. There we go. Same thing here. Got a hold of the strap, flexing the foot, just providing some activation in the leg. Okay, and just finding the spot where you're feeling a light stretch. Okay, light stretch, but also the engaged muscles of the leg, providing and creating some strength. at the same time. Another thing that's kind of working here is your core. Especially with the leg in the air. If we were working with both legs in the air, one thing that allows us to do that is just the stomach muscles or the abdominal muscles engage. Maybe not too strongly, but they have to work in order for you to do something like this, to lie down and to extend a leg up into the air. Let's take 3 more breaths. When we're complete, we can bend the knee. And let's maneuver the strap out from underneath the foot. Place the strap to the side. Plant the feet into the ground. Press, lift the hips so you can slide the blocks out from underneath you and come back down to the earth. Once you're down, you can actually stretch. Extend the legs out front and reach the arms behind you, just to get some lengthening through the entire body. Take some breaths here. All right, we're going to do a few more things before we finish our practice together. Go ahead and bend your knees again. Plant the feet into the floor. You can bring your arms down by your side. We're going to hug the knees into chest. Doesn't have to be too close. Really just lifting the feet and just catch and hold on to your shins or knees. And maybe you can create some movement, some circles, some figure eights, side to side motions, even forward and back. You might even want to get into the ankles a little bit. Let's get into another hip opener. We did a seated hip opener. Now we're doing one that's lying down. We're going to do 2 that are lying down. We're going to activate the legs again. Keep them bent, but you are going to do a light flex in the feet, still holding onto the shins or knees, and take the feet apart, or take the legs apart. You might even bend the elbows quite a bit until they reach the floor. That way the knees actually can sit in your hands, and you'll get a light stretch in the inner legs. So this is a variation of happy baby pose. Just getting a light stretch in the inner legs here. We're going to do another hip opener in a moment. Two more breaths. Let's bring the knees together. Alrighty, now that the knees are together, keep the feet together there, but take the knees apart, keeping the feet together. You're going to catch hold of the shins, ankles, or your feet, and just hold. Alrighty, so this version is just the lying down interpretation of what we did seated. So we did the seated version of this. Remember that? We were holding onto our shins and ankles. The blocks were underneath the legs. So this is just the lying down version. So we don't have to worry about keeping the spine straight. Here, with this version, we can really work on those inner thighs. So with a little bit of effort, we're sending the heels down towards the pelvis and sending the knees forward or legs forward. Just a little push forward. And you should feel that in the inner legs. Let's take 3 more breaths. After the third breath, we'll keep the feet touching, but set them onto the floor. Now, if your blocks are handy, you can grab those books, blocks, or pillows, and once again, just tuck them underneath the knees so the legs rest open and they can really relax. So just another version of this posture. Very relaxing, very comforting. Let's take 3 more breaths. We're going to bring the knees together again. We're finished with the blocks. for now. You can keep them to the side. Actually, they might come in handy for this next pose. Pick up the feet, bring both knees to chest. We're going to go for a twist. I'm going to take both knees over to the left side while my right arm extends to the right side. Now, so you don't feel an over rotation in your back, or if it feels sensitive in the hips, you can use those blocks again. Maybe just tuck a block underneath that bottom leg. Even place one between the knees here. This could be a pillow or rolled up towel. It doesn't have to be blocks. Something soft might be a little bit more comfortable. So as we're coming to the end of our practice, we did several things. We did a focus on tight hamstrings, just kind of moving through some poses in the event that you do have tight hamstrings, ways that you can modify using props, even things like chairs and pillows and tables and ends of your seat, okay? Ways of stretching out the legs in a very efficient way. So you do manifest flexibility in the legs. And that just really means taking longer in those stretch positions. All right, I'm going to bring my legs up and then take them over to the other side using the blocks again for support. And then we added those leg extensions, just adding energy, strength, which really helps with stability, okay, through the legs. Not only do we want flexibility in our joints and flexibility in like our hamstring muscles, but strength so that we can really move with ease and grace. Let's take 3 more breaths here. As we come to the end, we can come out of that rotation. Now you can just extend the legs out in front of you here on the floor for Savasana. If the legs don't go absolutely straight and this doesn't feel comfortable, because it may not if you have tight hamstrings, I'm just going to carefully roll to my side and lift because I want to get that big pillow again, or a rolled up blanket or towel, and then just tuck it underneath the legs so the legs can remain bent. For me, this feels really nice because it also releases some tension in my low back. And hopefully this feels a little bit more comfortable. And then maybe a blanket that you're lying on. And then just find stillness. Feel free to just gaze upward or close your eyes here. Take a couple deep breaths and then just soften the breath just to help your body and mind relax, come to a place of ease and comfort. This is a moment for meditation. Just like we began our practice, we began with a breathing meditation, then a very simple moving meditation. Now we're just coming back to that stillness with complete ease in the body. This is a moment for meditation. Just like we began our practice, we began with a breathing meditation, then a very simple moving meditation. Now we're just coming back to that stillness, complete ease in the body. You're welcome to stay here as long as you like. Even as I end the practice, if you found a nice, comfortable and resting position, stay here. Just like we were holding some of those hamstring stretches, you don't want to move out of them too quickly, so there's no reason to move out of this pose too quickly. Take your time. Your body and mind will appreciate the complete stillness and the rest. When you are ready to move, just take 5 slow, steady breaths, beginning to feel movement carefully, slowly. Return to your body. Breathing with intention. And that intention is to bring a new energy to the body so you can move. After your 5th breath, slowly and carefully roll to one side of your body. And press and lift yourself up to seated. Find a comfortable seat. That could be with legs crossed or even legs extended, or how we sat earlier with the legs extended with the pillow tucked underneath. Sit up as tall as you can here. Let's take one more movement together. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. As you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Taking one more breath. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.